first attempt at 162.5 kilos. Oh, and surprise, surprise. Whilst you were away, the world record holder and the world champion at the snatch, Kg of Armenia, failed, and now another of tonight's favourites, Plamen Yeliashkov, failing also at 162.5 kilos.
Yes, neither of them found strength, both failing because of technical errors. But of course, in a field like, excuse me, in a field like this, David, you can't afford to miss attempts because it really is so close.
Yes, they've got some important decisions to make now, whether they're going to actually come out and have a go again or move up and try and keep on the plan. Meanwhile, here's the Turk, Mehmet Yilmaz from Ankara.
Yes, he's taken a 7.5 kilo jump. This is interesting. Opened on 155, did a very, very comfortable first lift, and now has taken a 7.5 kilo jump.
Well, maybe in the back of his mind there's still that worry about not getting a total.
Oh, look at that. Well, shows the other two how it should be done.
And the Turks are definitely firing on a lot more cylinders than they have been. That's not Suli, by the way, of Albania. Or is that Suli of Albania? No. What are we doing here? It is Suli of Albania. My apologies. It's the Turk who's about to come on. You're absolutely right, David. My apologies. 7.5 kilos was the increment. And it's put him on 162.5 kilos, which means he now leads the field. So now, this is Mehmet Yilmaz taking the same weight. So in his case, this is now a 5 kilo increase. And were he to get this, he would go into the lead by virtue of his lighter body weight.
A good lift. So the Turk now takes the lead, and still one attempt remaining. I think you'll be pleased with that, David, because they've been telling me that they're not in 100%. They're not at 100% of their conditioning, because obviously they're looking forward to the Olympic Games.
Here comes Vanev. Vanev also going for a 5 kilo increase. This is second attempt. Now Vanev weighed in at 76.72, so even if he gets this, he can only go into second place, ahead of Suli, but behind Mehmet. But of course he still will have one more lift, one more card to play. But the two failures from Kg and Yeliashkov have opened up this competition. Vanev, terrific speed.
Yes, I don't think Vanev was ever looking for a gold medal on the snatch. He knows if he can stay with them on the snatch, his real power lies in the clean and jerk. So he'll be looking at overall.
So 162.5 kilos puts Zlatan Vanev equal with his personal best. And the encouraging news for him, and that's 5 kilos up on his performance in Athens. So he'll be happy to have put that behind him. Now, Kg, the world record, 170.5 kilos. It's quite interesting. If you were with us for the World Championships, you might remember that the gold medal was actually won by Răzvan Ili of Romania, who got the gold medal, but Kg, who was before that competition the world record, captured it. But then subsequently, Răzvan Ili was disqualified for taking an illegal substance and lost the gold medal. So this man ended up with the title and the world snatch gold record. But two failures, and he's under immense pressure, because the other thing, David, is this is his strongest suit. Whereas we were talking about Attila Ferry being stronger in the clean and jerk, this man has always shown in the snatch.
That's right, he would have been looking to build a lead in the snatch and perhaps just hold on in the clean and jerk, but as it is, he's hanging on with one attempt remaining.
Yes, you see, he got that gold medal in Athens, but then with the clean and jerk slipped back down to 7th place. So Yeliashkov faces the same sort of pressure here as the man who just him from Armenia. Yeliashkov, world champion at 69 kilos, that was in 1998. Last year, at 77 kilos when he moved up, he was 3rd, behind the man who was a former teammate of his, Peter Tanev, but now a man who represents Qatar. More of that in a moment.
That's more like it.
Yes, he's known as Salim Noyev Badir now, but a year ago in Spain, this 77 kilo title went to Peter Tanev of Bulgaria, and he was the first of the 8 lifters that Bulgaria sold off for a reported $1 million to Qatar. So Yeliashkov now something to prove. So Yeliashkov goes into 3rd place again, body weight playing its part, and it's Mehmet Yilmaz of Turkey who's in the gold medal position at the moment, and he's still got 1 lift to go.
So of course body weight could be playing a part with this lift as well, because this man, Yunidenko, weighed in at 76.20, so this lift, if he's successful, will put him into the lead by virtue of lighter body weight.
Yes, he's
so
the lightest man in the field. But didn't get it over his head, and I'm afraid that's another failure. Only 1 out of 3, 157.5, and the opportunity not taken.
Yes, just doesn't really get enough height on the bar. Too heavy on this particular day.
Now.
Yes, the world record holder now hanging on.
Well, I'll tell you what,
one attempt.
If he fails this, it will be a huge shock, and just to whet your appetite, in the interval after the snatch and before the clean and jerk phase, we'll be looking back at the last of the women's final, and there was a big shock in that. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but if you stay with us here on Eurosport, you'll see something quite surprising. Well, this is Kapanixian, 3rd attempt. Remember, this is 7.5, 8 kilos below his record. 20 seconds.
But this would put him in the lead. Of course, than all other athletes that have succeeded. So that's the lead for now. But he's just now got to sit back and watch, see what the others do.
Had to work for it, though.
Suzuki, ride the winds of change.
And there's Kojabashev, Mr. Kojabashev, the president of the Bulgarian Weightlifting Federation, the gentleman in the suit there, recently took over that responsibility and is responsible for these championships. Now, Kapanixian, the world champion at snatch, is in the lead, but there are 5 men waiting to attack. 4 of them have got left, 1 of them has got 2, and this is the man who's got 2 attempts. This is Melikian of Armenia, so his own teammate to try and upset arguably the pre-competition favourite, at least for this half of the competition. From Yerevan, 23 years of age, Melikian, so much less experienced than the defending champion. And this is 5 kilos up on his performance in Athens when he was down in 13th place in the world rankings in the snatch. And clearly for a new personal best, if he can get it.
That's a shame.
Well, Kapanikyan in the back there, you can see the TV monitors. It's a bit like watching the milk bottles being knocked off the wall, but there's an awful lot of bottles standing there. And still 5 attempts to take it away from him. But I have to say 162.5 kilos, David, would be a very unsatisfactory weight to win this with.
Yes, that's right, because of course world record stands at 170.5.
So, Albania's Suli now.
Yes, started on 155. Took that big jump to 162.5, but pulled it off. Now, for his final attempt, taking 165 kilos, and this for the lead. Look at that.
I thought for a moment he was going to lose it, but then suddenly recovered. And 165. He's not the lightest man around, so he's still not home and dry. And there are 3 men.
Yes, just look at this again. As you say, there was just a little point there where it looked as if it might go, but really did well to hang on to that.
Well, is that going to be worth a medal? Now, Mehmet Yilmaz, this is a pretty important lift, because if he can get this, he's the lightest of all the rest that are left to lift. So he will put real pressure on the rest now if he can get this. So the Turks have actually played the tactics here, Roll. But it's all down. They can't do anything now, the men in the corner. It's all down to the man who's on the platform.
Yes, this would really be something if he could pull this off today. Yes. But I think he realises how well he did with 162.5 in his current condition.
Yes, I mean, it is 2.5 kilos below his personal best, so 165 is the weight he's achieved. I think that's rather disappointing. I'm not sure it's the weight, or is it the mental approach to it?
Well, as I say, they're on a build-up towards the Olympic Games, and they're not at their strongest at the moment.
No, but when a chance like that presents itself, and that was a real chance, David. You know, when they come, you've got to take them. So we got Albania in the lead from Armenia. Still Yilmaz in 3rd place by virtue of it. But Vanev now, of course, if he lifts this, he will go ahead. His body weight's 76.72, which means that he's light enough, if he succeeds, to push the Albanian down into the silver medal position. Kapanikyan into bronze, and Yilmaz off the podium.
Look at that. Three good lifts for Vanev. 157.5, 162.5, and then a fantastic attempt on 165. And of course, this isn't his strong lift, David, so he's really built himself a good base to work from.
Yes, and that's a new personal best for him. It's a little bit heavier than usual tonight, Vanev. 76.14 when he was setting those personal bests, 76.72 tonight. Now Malikian.
Well, in fact, the only man left in the competition that could take the gold away from Vanev is actually his teammate, because Malikian coming in now at 165, but of course he's heavier.
But there's an interesting question here, because Vanev has got 165 and got to it first, and Yeliauskov, his teammate, if he was going to do it, he'd have to go for a heavier weight, because Vanev got there first, so he'd be forced by this rather strange rule to actually go to 167.5, Giliashkov.
Unless he wanted to go for the silver.
Yes. Well, Malekian, he's had a couple of cracks and he hasn't been up to it. And from a position where he really looked in with a really good chance of a medal, he's currently down in 6th place.
It's going to be interesting now to see what Plowman does, because
167.5.
Because he's not as strong in the clean and jerk. The snatch is his real strength. So he's going to be wanting to gain some kind of a lead. Well, he's done 170 kilos, so this is within his capabilities.
So this is Bulgaria versus Bulgaria, and difficult to know which half of the auditorium are on whose side here. It is, as you say, a win-win situation for the home fans.
I think he's strong enough to do this. Definitely got the power. On those earlier snatches, though, his technique didn't look as sharp as it has in the past. This is just a question of putting everything together. Well, I said he was strong enough, pulled the weight to arm's length, but just doesn't seem to have the coordination, the positioning this evening.
And just to emphasise, that failure has left him out of the medals. And there, you can just see that failure there, and Vanev he just can't get it there, can he? Vanev it is, who takes the gold medal, 165 kilos by virtue of lighter body weight, denying the Albanian Ilyan Suli with Kapaniksyan of Armenia, disappointing in 3rd, but just on the night, good enough to grab a European bronze. Well, still the clean and jerk to come, and in the break, when we come back, we'll also have highlights of the women's super